Pop quiz hotshot. You know what Sand Scout does? Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. And I was hunting for something weird to record with, and I definitely found it. I found this from like a tiny 16-person tournament, and it is a Guide of Souls, Ocelot, Pride, Ajani decklist, and we've seen that core be pretty good across multiple formats. But the thing that was really interesting, well, okay, there's a couple interesting things about this deck, but Mockingbird was what originally caught my eye. This is kind of a weird clone effect, maybe one of the best clones ever. So, Mockingbird is a 1/1 flyer at its core. You may have it enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield with mana value less than or equal to the amount of mana spent to cast Mockingbird, except it's a bird in addition to its other types and has flying. So at 1 mana, you can just go and copy your Guide of Souls, your Ocelot Pride, whatever. At 2 mana, you can start copying all the stuff over here, and so on and so forth. So this can be an incredibly mana efficient way to keep growing your board while getting redundancy as well. And this is a May ability, so if you ever just need a 1/1 flyer, you can just do so. And it is any creature on the battlefield, so that does include your opponent's stuff. And then there's just some wild stuff in this deck list, such as Sand Scout. When it enters, if an opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for a desert card, put it on the battlefield tapped. Whenever one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, make a 1/1 red, green, and white Sand Warrior creature token, and it triggers once per turn. So when you fetch or when you wasteland an opponent, you get a 1/1 dude to go with it, and then there's a couple other oddballs in the deck list. Sheltered by Ghosts is a removal spell attached to Lifelink and Ward 2, and then Blade of Shared Souls is a pseudo-living weapon type card. When it enters, create a 2/2 red rebel creature token and attach this to it. Whenever this becomes attached to a creature, for as long as it remains attached, you may have that creature become a copy of another target creature you control. So we could get a lot of copies of Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, whatever. We could Legend Rule our Ajanis relatively easily, turn that into the Planeswalker, start doing some neat things. I'm not sure whether or not this deck is good, but it's not like we play good decks all the time on the channel anyway, and this was interesting enough that I felt like I had to try it. It'll probably take us a couple of rounds to get the play patterns for this deck down. It's probably going to be a little quirky and weird, but we'll see how it goes. Sideboard's very, very skewed towards stopping graveyard stuff from happening. And then a little bit of generic stuff for Eldrazi, and just some fair stuff for maybe when something like Daze is not all that necessary. So shout out to J Money for giving me a dealer's choice donation deck list to make this deck happen. And if you need some cards, please consider checking out my sponsor, toamagic.com. I'm about to go to MagicCon Vegas and pick up a bunch of cards from them. I ordered ahead using my own promo code ThrabenU, so I saved 5% on my order while telling my sponsor, hey, you should support me. Seems like winning to me. Plus, if you order, you always get free shipping, even if you're not picking up your cards in person. With that being said, let's battle. Yo dog, I heard you liked Guide of Souls. We Guide of Souls, our Guide of Souls, our Guide of Souls. Keep Arena. Urza's Saga. Wasteland would be a cool draw after seeing that. We don't super care about Vexing Bauble as a deck. I think I can just get a basic here. I already have an island in my hand for next turn. I only have one basic plains, just conceptually for future reference. Show me Ancient Tomb. There it is. This is a 2/2. Oh, buddy. So, Mockingbird, copy Guide of Souls. So now this Guide of Souls copy flies. Now Ocelot Pride, trigger. We already have 3 for this, which means that I can just attack directly into Urza's Saga. Yeah, we fly though, so. Then at end step, we Ocelot Pride, and then we do this whole thing. Next turn, I can play another Guide of Souls or play sheltered by ghosts to junk a non-land permanent and get lifelink on one of these larger bodies. Whoa. Guide of Souls Mirror. All right, opponent's got mana. Okay. And swords. Sure. If I can get smacked for 5, I'll just jump block with a cat. That's fine. Belly is really good against these. I wish I had one more mana. I do wish this was a Tundra now that I have drawn yet another Guide of Souls. Oh, will. So let's nuke one of these tokens. Blast in 4/5 damage. I don't have the energy to do anything more this turn. Getting hard for my opponent to tap Ancient Tomb from here. Oh, it is a very different looking initiative build. So this is initiative with Guide of Souls and Urza's Saga and Vexing Bauble. Staff of the Storyteller. Wild. Yeah, sure. All right. I really wish that I could double spell. Oh, this is just lethal, isn't it? Because this gives +1/+0, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is just lethal if I exile that token. Yeah, send it. And my opponent does not have 2 cards in hand, so Solitude can't stop me here. They don't have a wide open mana. Well, that was fucking decisive. Killed by ghosts. Opponent agrees that this was fucking sick. Alright, I don't really want Daze here. My opponent has a lot of mana. I think it's just going to be a little awkward. Belia sounds good versus Urza Saga Construct tokens. And my opponent says they kind of kept a risky hand. I probably just play these. This is not crazy, but I don't really feel like I'm holding up mana. I kind of think I'm tapping out for dudes. I could think about playing Containment Priest for combos with Thalia. I'm going to go with no, but I'm not sure on that. Oh shit, there's Lotus Petals in this deck? I totally fucking missed that. Where are those Lotus Petals? Oh yeah, okay, there's 3 Lotus Petals. Okay. So this is turn 1 Cat Friend. Turn 2 get an extra land. That's like fine. This is good against artifact mana, but it's not gonna go and hit something like a Seasoned Dungeoneer that's just played out immediately. I don't know that this one's good enough. It feels like my 1-drop hands are just really good. Yeah, this is fine. You are probably my worst card here. Witch Blessed Meadow, the other side of Witch Enchanter. An opponent Guide of Souls. I am probably going to Swords to Plowshares that. I'm going to let my opponent put something else on the stack first. And I'll take 1 to see if I can get a better creature with this. 19. All right. Would not mind wastelanding that. Ocelot Pride. Am I swordsing this or this? I think I'm swordsing this. I think the first strike body is relevant versus my own Ocelot Pride. So now we're going to take out Ancient Tomb so my opponent can't bridge to 4 mana. And then I will play a Cat Friend. I'll copy my Cat Friend next turn, probably. Ooh, that's fine. That's actively good. Is Mockingjay Guide of Souls or another Ocelot Pride? I think it's Guide of Souls. I think we get a Guide of Souls. Swords to Plowshares, your Guide of Souls. Then crash in for 1. I will gain life with my lifelink, which will give me cats, which will give me energy. No! What's Caretaker's Talent? Rabbit card? Whenever tokens enter, draw a card. Sure. Okay. Oh? Or an Urza's Saga, so that's just fixing for the next land drop there, so that our opponent can make tokens. Never didn't have it. Nice. So, Pride, gain an energy. Is this getting rid of a token? I think we can just get rid of the Shadow Spear, honestly. I think that's fine. So, yeah. Goodbye. I have flying. I don't need to worry about being chump blocked here. Got 2 damage in. Then at end step, my opponent will make a construct token. And I will make a cat. Opponent says I should add an Ancient Den. Seems good, friend. Seems good. Or alternatively, and hear me out, don't play Enlightened Tutor in Legacy. I am very much not a fan of Enlightened Tutor. Don't think that Card has held up well. Alright. So I fly, so I can go ahead and send in. I'll have energy to continue being big as of next turn. Opponent can make a friend. I can make a friend. But my friend comes with life and energy. My opponent has a decent amount of power on the board, which I'm hoping doesn't really matter. There's a redraw. Ooh, those ancient tombs are not what my opponent wants to be seeing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's surveil here real quick. What does this actually do? Exile target creature card with mana value X from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4. I don't have creatures in my graveyard. My creatures are in exile. Accordingly, this is probably a below average draw. I think I just take 12. I think I want to get the City's Blessing, because then I just get 2 cats. Feels a little weird, but is probably correct. Do you fly? Opponent can make a 1/1 flyer. I don't care about a 1/1 flyer. So we'll send in with both of these. Yes. Target Ocelot Pride. Okay. Opponent goes to 9. Then 7. White Orchid Phantom. Gains me some life. There's presumably a basic over there. I leave my opponent with the Ancient Tombs. This does potentially give them another Retrofitter Foundry activation. I don't think that's happened. Oh no, the land enters tapped. JK. Alright, yep, there's a Thopter. So now City's Blessing, which means I get 2 cats, 2 energy, 2 life. And now it's pretty darn easy to just go wide of what my opponent is doing. I can chump block with cats for days. Oh, yeah, okay. That's fine. Go for it. More Saga. Ocelot Pride not doing enough here. Could very easily be lethal in the air then. Yep, we have gotten the GGs from our opponent. Oh, we stopped our opponent from getting a trophy. I'm a trophy killer. GGs. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, which is an absolutely awesome place to keep all of your deck lists. I keep all of my personal deck lists there as well, in addition to all of the stuff that I do for the stream. And in the future, they're going to have a social media site on here too. So if you're worried about other certain websites dying, maybe join Moxfield, put your deck lists up there, and in the future, you'll be there for social media stuff too. So if I take turn 1 off, or I use Lotus Petal on turn 1 to play out a threat, like, this is not that bad. This tapped land is really awkward. I'm going to try to keep it, though. So I would like another land. Nice, nice. We'll put that on top. And I think with Day's backup, I just play out an Ocelot Pride here. Yeah. So counter that. Nice. So now we have an untapped land. So we go bam, bam, copy you, send in for 1, and then we get to make 2 cats at end step, which is not really what a control deck wants to see. So now they need multiple 1-for-1 cards to keep me from producing more cats. Boy, untapped land off the top would be hot. It would be so hot. Never didn't have it. Yeah. Let's just put it on a token. Everything dies to Bowmaster anyway. Yeah. And I think I push aggro here rather than trying to answer the Cauldra itself. I've already made my land drop. Hot damn. Cats. So I've seen Stoneforge Mystic from my opponent's deck. Days was insane in game winning there, but I think I'm just going to play dudes. The Felias in particular really help with like Cauldra germ tokens. Just blinking out those germs is removal for that. When I'm on the play though, I'll probably play Dazes. I fucking love this deck. Alright. Ooh. Yeah, I like that. Does this need to be a Tundra? I don't think this needs to be a Tundra. So we're going to Esper Sentinel here so that it's much less good if my opponent wants to do something like Swords to Plowshare as a creature. And this means that I'm not optimizing for energy, I think that's fine. I would rather potentially optimize for cards or tempo here. I would not mind an untapped land for next turn. I don't think I need it, but I would not mind it. And let's see what awful thing my opponent has. Ah, it is Psychic Frog. Sure. So I'd like to find some removal, I suppose. And Scout is not removal. So let's Pride here. Gain life, only have 1 energy, so not attacking into a frog immediately or anything. And we'll just make cats. Gain energy, and repeat. We're coming in with Psychic Frog. Prismatic Ending. Paying for it, taking out my Ocelot Pride. I'll happily block with a cat token to keep you from drawing a card. I'm good with that. That means that I get to crack back. Ooh. Yeah, I think I like this one. Alright, so opponent can pay for Esper Sentinel here. I only have 2 energy since that didn't enter play. Not blocking Psychic Frog though, so we'll just get in there. 16. I could get my own Psychic Frog if I wanted. That's kind of sweet. Here, that card's good. My opponent topped their card and can now draw it, which is presumably going to be some removal spell. So I don't think I Sheltered by Ghosts immediately accordingly. Everything's kind of weird here this turn. So yeah, at sorcery speed. So I gain an energy now. Because of, well, Bowmaster Ping can just kill it anyway. This is gonna fly. All right, send in. This will target then. Yeah, it creates a second trigger, so that can be responded to. I think we're just throwing these on Guide of Souls. All right, opponent gets hit for 4. Ooh. If my opponent has Wasteland, I'm not sure that playing out that land prior to a Psychic Frog draw was correct. What do you need 5 mana for? Solitude? Lorien Revealed? Oh, fuck. I see. For X equals 1. Leaving me with this. Okay. Let's Tundra. And let's start trying to go wide here. In this spot, I really wish this was just Swords to Plowshares. It's so much safer for me. Okay, so I do target, but I just choose no. Then I will send in with Felia, blink the blade, hit for 2, make another thing, and don't copy. So hopefully I put my opponent on the defensive. More copies of Wrath of the Sky would be scary. I'm so afraid of getting blown out while using Sheltered by Ghosts. I would really like my opponent to like dedicate some cards to Psychic Frog. I may need to get that one out of the way. Pre-war formal wear. Wrong. Okay. Very fast shuffle. Okay, now I know at least in the next turn cycle, whatever I'm doing won't be like taken out of the way. I'm casting Sheltered by Ghosts, like for sure. I think I'm casting that around days. Guess we'll put it on Felia for the ward on my most valuable creature. We take out Psychic Frog here. Force a Stoneforge chump block. Oh wait, no, my opponent's just fucking dead. Just blink this and stop grinding value. Yeah, we are 2-0 with our deck. I'm gonna assume that this was the random draw off the Ponder Shuffle, because otherwise I don't think it makes sense to cast that last cantrip. GG. Alright, so the daze is a little weird here. I'm probably keeping the hand. I mean, I'm keeping the hand. I've clicked the button. But Wasteland is a little sketch right now. I think I am leading on Esper Sentinel. I think I am valuing card draw very highly here. The second land drop helps me out a lot. Daze might be allowing me to kind of make that next land drop. We'll see how this goes. My opponent has mulliganed a couple of times. Hopefully that means they've got a little bit of a clunker, or that my Daze could stop a combo attempt. Alright, opponent is chilling. That is not a land, but it sure is another Esper Sentinel. I will just play 3 of them. 19. We're passing. Feels like this is just a Surveil land. Yes. Opponent likes their card. Uh-oh. Ooh, paying for one of them. Lotus Petal just resolves. That's not worth bouncing my land for. Can't counter that one. Can't counter that one. Okay. Opponent's just playing out a bunch of artifact mana. I don't have hard counters like Force of Will, so I really need to get the fucking show on the road with killing my opponent. That helps. Okay. Fetch. New Tundra. I think this is how I get most aggressive. New Esper Sentinel. Gain 1. I'm only sending in for 2 here. Next turn I send in for a bunch. We have some options here. So I can tax my opponent 1 mana, but draw them a card. I think taxing them the 1 mana is relevant. Brainstorming in response. So here's Daze. Daze resolves. So if my opponent did something like Echo, my future counterspells would be live. Opponent says Ristic Buddy is not my friend. I agree. And I hope Ristic Buddy draws me another fucking Daze. Otherwise I think I'm dead. I might even be dead through Daze. Alright. Nothing under that. Passing. Holy shit. I feel like I'm getting so lucky here. Sure. Alright. Cool. Nice. So, yeah. Yeah. Probably just this, honestly. Yeah. Now, do I take out Mox Opal or an LED? I think Mox Opal. Alright. I wonder if my opponent started doing things too soon. Okay. I think I get to just punch my opponent in the face again. And I am on board for that. Nice. So, yeah. Yeah. We are gonna make some energy and gain some life. More when I gain the cat. Do I just play another one? I think I just play another one. Yeah. It doesn't matter which one I keep. More life. More cats. Planeswalker friend. No cats are attacking this turn. Don't control a red permanent. Let's just make another cat immediately. Because then I can do more with Guide of Souls here. Or no, I can't do it twice in one turn. I have 1 Guide of Souls. Alright, yeah. Yes, I can make an Esper Sentinel tax better, but I think I just physically want to gain more life here. Make it harder for my opponent to storm off through everything that I've got going on. Opponent is at 4. That does not tap for mana. I feel like we stole that one. I am not going to lie to you. Alright, Swords of Plowshares absolutely has to go. Consign to Memory counters some artifact mana. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. I'll probably play it. The Graveyard Hate is pretty mid. It's not like Sand Scout is good, though. Fairy can be really good versus Beseech Lines. White Orchid Phantom is fine. Ghost Vacuum is not exciting. But again, anything that can help out against some Beseech Lines is probably good enough. Blade of Shared Souls is just too slow, and Felia doesn't really do a lot. Like, I think Exile target artifact that my opponent plays out is better than Felia. Yeah, this is fine. Sometimes I'll just die, though. Like, before I do anything meaningful. Whether or not I hold up Consign to Memory on turn 1 is sort of interesting. Sure. Because I really do need to put these into play. Oh, well, shit. Yeah, that helps a lot. I don't think I'm going to hold up double Consigned to Memory. While doing that is the easiest way to make sure that I don't die, I do kind of need to get the show on the road. Opponent probably surveils here. Do you like your card? Oh, well, you like your card. That's fine. If my opponent plays a Lion's Eye Diamond, I probably Consign to Memory that. Okay, opponent not going turbo here. So, do I hold up double Consign to Memory for the next turn? That starts to get more interesting. I think I do. I think now that I at least have something in play that is attacking my opponent, it's okay to be a little more conservative. And I have to be careful about not waiting too long with Consign to Memory. Alright. Ooh. Wait. It's only shutting off Dazes. Not shutting off Consign to Memory. Okay. So their spells can't be countered. Their triggered abilities can still be countered. So we might be in a spot where we need to redraw Consigned to Memory. So this is happening. The difference between 19 and 20 life is negligible. I'm just going to take a land out of my deck here. And this resolves. Nice. We got at least something. So my opponent will presumably vomit out a bunch of artifact mana. Hopefully go for a Beseech line that I can disrupt with a fairy. That's the plan. Gamble. There's an Echo. So if my opponent puts something on the stack, I can fairy that. Oh, that's really weird. Oh, I'm just dead, aren't I? Fuck, I think I'm just dead. Storm 9. Yeah, this is where we needed Consign. I don't have it. Opponent even typed in chat, like, please don't have Consign. You're in luck. I did not redraw it. Alright, we'll run it back. Veil of Summer did some serious work. Okay, I have a Daze, a Prismatic Ending, and a Wasteland as interaction. Those are not, like, the most ideal pieces of interaction or anything. I think it's enough that I can keep the hand. But it's not enough that I feel safe. Let's Tundra and get Guide of Souls going. I am likely to play Guide of Souls into Guide of Souls Bird and Wasteland my opponent. Like, given the option to, that is how I would like to play this out. Uh-oh. That's resolving. That's not surprising. Oh no. This is gonna be gamble for Echo. Yep. And we do the whole draw 7 thing. My hand gets significantly worse. Alright, opponent's still going, which probably means that I die. Okay, sure. That probably takes this, which I currently value as the best card in my hand. Opponent agrees. We dodged being dead. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. We'll make a copy of our Guide of Souls. Gain a life. That point of life is not super likely to be relevant. And hit our opponent for a little bit. Unfortunately, I think there's a massive tell that I drew Consigned to Memory, because I showed my opponent this land as well. Yep. And we'll see what happens here. The next artifact that goes on the stack turns on Mox Opal. That's fine. I think I only have one Surveil land. I do only have one Surveil land. I wish that I had another untapped land here. Undra. This is going to be my other untapped land that I want. So that goes into my graveyard. Now I play Mockingbird. I don't have green mana, so that making copies of Haywire Might to get rid of this stuff doesn't make sense. Alright. Send in. Yes. Target this one so that my opponent can't block. Hitting for 4. Holding up Consign. Okay. Land is probably good for me. I'll just pass. Yes. Yes. I guess I don't hate that. I'm about to gain a very large amount of life. I'm going to gain 6 life off of this. Okay, always yield energy generating abilities. So then cat, do it again. So playing Sheltered by Ghost doesn't actually do anything because of Haywire Might. The opponent has to sacrifice Haywire Might to stay alive because I'm going to be swinging for 9 in the air. Alright, so send in. Yes, and we'll diversify here. Yes. Diversify. 9. Gotta sack this. Aww. Alright. I think holding up Consigned to Memory is better than trying to mess with one of these permanents. And here is the Desperation Surveil. I don't think I'm countering that. It is Beseech the Mirror. Getting Song of Creation. Whenever you cast a spell, that is a triggered ability. Just in case I'm missing something, I'm gonna replicate that. I can take out the LED too. So target Song of Creation, replicate once. Yeah, we have gotten the GG here. And we'll take LED the second time. And then we have Lethal in the air. That one was scary. That's 3-0 now. Yeah, I am down for this. The only question is going to be like Esper Sentinel, Guide of Souls sequencing. Okay, so we don't really have to worry about counter spells. Fuck, main deck, Grafdigger's Cage. That is a metagame statement. Someone is mad at blue-black Reanimator. Okay. Tundra, Lotus Petal, Guide of Souls, Esper Sentinel, gain some life. What? You only mulliganed once. You only mulliganed once. This is where I clap my hands and go, the London Mulligan is the most powerful thing in Magic. You've heard me say that a billion times, though. All right, fantastic. So we're going to end up gaining 2 life here, which is very relevant because that's enough to get a Guide of Souls trigger this turn. We'll put that on the Esper Sentinel this time so that its tax increases with its power. Opponent's at 16. Yep. Yeah, they did not mulligan, and accordingly probably lost this game just instantly. Playing this is just worth 3 energy. That's fine. So we're going to have some triggers here. Will transform. I will make a cat. So 1 energy, 2 energy, 0, 3 energy, combat, send in. We'll diversify now. Not like my opponent is paying a tax of 3 anyway. Opponent's at 8. This is very much lethal next turn. Opponent needs like Tron land into the One Ring. Yep. So White Orchid Phantom is great. Consigned to Memory is great. This stuff is not good. And then we just kind of figure out how we want to adjust. So I didn't see very many of my opponent's cards. How good is Prismatic Ending? Gonna miss some bigger stuff. So if my opponent is playing like Grim Monoliths and Keys and such, then Prismatic Ending has some text. They're probably playing Urza Saga if we saw Game 1 Grafdigger's Cage. I think I just want these. Sand Scout's out. Sand Scout, Felia, yeah. Yeah? This is Pride into Pride with Wasteland. Not the biggest fan of like a lot of the stuff over here, but I think this is good enough to keep. Planar Nexus, Vexing Bubble. You got it. Nice. I will just take Planar Nexus out immediately. I'm not going to let my opponent untap and potentially get 4 mana or, you know, save their land with crop rotation or something. That's fine. I think my first land can be basic, was going to be the remainder of that thought. That's probably still true. Well, I guess the Mockingbirds just can become additional copies of White Orchid Phantom. That was not really something that was on my radar as possible, as this is only a singleton in the deck list, but yeah, this can just be White Orchid Phantom for the next 3 turns. That's hot. Okay, no Swords to Plowshares, but I did get a weird pause from my opponent. So I'm going to keep in mind that they might have swords, yeah. Sort of interestingly, they missed their land drop, which is very inconvenient for me. I think since I can copy it twice, I just put a creature into play rather than surveil this turn. Will not blow up my own Tundra to thin a land. Well, maybe I should have. Alright, send in for 2. Yeah. Opponent goes to 18. Cast Mockingbird. Copy White Orchid Phantom. I think I attempt to blow up their wasteland. It's possible that this like green fixes for them. And then I think I wait on the other one. That's fine. Finding a cloud post that I will blow up. Fetch. We'll surveil. Ending doesn't do anything right now. Belly is great. Send in for 4. Opponent goes to 14. Cast Mockingbird. Copy a White Orchid Phantom. Blow up a cloud post. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I'll surveil 1. Esper Sentinel's not great. I'll pass the turn with end of turn Flash Felia for White Orchid Phantom. Oh. What if you tapped that to cast a spell, though? What if you tapped that to cast a spell? Hypothetically. Yeah. Sure. It's another legendary creature, unfortunately. Send it. Opponent's at 8. I do the Planeswalker thing. Well, I make a cat. This represents lethal next turn. And I'll pass. Huh. That is the creature with the lowest amount of power on the board. So, play Felia, which can be bounced. And is bounced. So a wasteland kills my opponent, so I'm going to thin a land out of my deck. Just increase the chance that I find one. I don't. I draw that prismatic ending. But this is hopefully fine. Like, my opponent still takes 6 here, goes to 2. Things like the One Ring aren't looking particularly strong. I'll pass a turn. There's a 4th mana source. And that is 4-0. We are playing for a trophy with this. Although, I think my opponent needed to mulligan more in that round. That round did not feel very competitive. Okay. This one's a mulligan. I don't have anything powerful to start off copying with my Mockingbird. By the same logic, this one is also a mulligan, unfortunately. I don't think I can try to play like Wasteland Days game with a 1/1 threat, and I don't think I want to hold this back. I think it's just better to have like a land or 2 plus 2 white creatures. Why have you forsaken me, deck? This is a 5-card hand. Turn 1 is probably these 4 cards, and I get to keep 1 card beyond that. I am not happy about it. You're going away. I don't know, do I just need it as a colorless land? Let's hope no. Let's just keep the most efficient hand that I can, and hope that we get lucky off the top afterwards. Not hopeful, but that's what games 2 and 3 are for. Yes. Yes. No. Absolutely not. Fuck yeah! Molda 5 London Mulligan! Best thing in the game! Oh, we got lucky there. I want this fucking trophy, folks. I want it so fucking bad right now. Alright, so Prismatic Ending is going to be better here if my opponent has, like, keys and stuff. Never cutting those. Never cutting those. Got expensive cards. Swap Sand Scout for Felia. Reasonable. This is a hand that is perfectly reasonable, that I probably cannot mulligan, but I also don't think that it wins the game. I think the game where I'm on the draw is just going to be very tough. I don't have Force of Will, and Force of Will very specifically is what I need to stop this shit when I'm on the draw. My opponent can just like play a Mystic Forge or a One Ring or whatever on turn 1. Sheltered by Ghosts can help on my turn 2. My turn 1 is pretty bad unless I draw exactly Lotus Petal. We're just jamming Guidasouls. So my opponent's Manifold Key can't untap both their Grim Monolith and the One Ring this turn. That's the good news. The bad news is their deck plays a lot of keys. They could just draw another very easily and then have a super hot turn. Yep. Let's see how bad it gets. Alright, there's artifacts coming. If my opponent doesn't just super pop off and kill me somehow. Glaring Fleshraker is a hell of a drug. That's fine. That's not fine. This is what I was afraid of, right? Like, because now my opponent has access to both mana and cards. So, what do I Sheltered by Ghosts? It feels like Grim Monolith. It feels like Grim Monolith. I'm not the most happy about the fact that I can't remove the One Ring here. But I think I am more likely to steal this game if my opponent just chokes and does not have access to good mana. This is the world's most savage dismember if my opponent has one. No. Okay, it's Kozilek's Command instead. I am. Okay, no, I am playing for a trophy. I will play it out, but I have lost this game. I just think there's 0 chance that I beat the One Ring Urza Saga Grim Monolith double key from this position. Like, my opponent already controls 5 artifacts. Will probably control 7 or 8 artifacts by the end of the turn. Like, 2 Urza Saga Construct tokens might just outright kill me next turn. Crystal Vein. In multiples, by the way, not just one. Uh-oh. Now, the One Ring Glaring Fleshraker nonsense probably kills me. I'm gonna fast forward. I expect that I'm dead. And about 2 minutes later, my opponent does kill me with double Glaring Fleshraker. So this is now for all the marbles. Feels like either Consigned to Memory or Daze matters a ton in my opening hand. I don't have Force of Wills to help out. Alright, let's hope for the best. That's 7 mana sources. This is sketchy, but has a real chance to win. So I'm going to be keeping this one. We'll throw back one of the fetch lands and keep double Wasteland Guide of Souls Days. Alright. This is kind of a the hand plays itself situation. I am not going to have very much agency in this game. This is fully just going to be how do my cards line up versus my opponent's cards. Yep. 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 And now we just have to pray that we can counter like the One Ring or Mystic Forge or whatever that comes down. That's very helpful. So I can Wasteland a Blast Zone. Prismatic Ending, probably a Mox Opal. Just work on initial mana sources. Try to keep the stuff out of play in the first place. Make my days better. Make my follow-up Wasteland better. Alright. Need another threat off the top, though. Like, very, very, very badly. Right-click, concede. Right-click, concede. Not conceding. Okay. Daze is a free spell that destroys target Lotus Petal. I'm game. No. Okay, so future Dazes are live. Nice. This one? I think since my opponent is on 2 cards, it is this one. It's not impossible for this to go wrong, but it's tough. Nice. Now I get to play out Flooded Strand. I am going to hold up Consigned to Memory. More importantly, I think using the Surveil land in the short term is very, very, very good. Nice. So, let's find a reasonable Magic the Gathering card. Sorry, Basic Plains, you are not a reasonable card right now. Ah, that's an awkward land to draw. I can't play Mockingbird and Consign to Memory if I play this land. Okay. We'll send in for 1. Opponent's at 14. I think I play this turn and hold up Consign. The Surveilling has a higher impact the sooner that I do it. But then if I rip something like a 2-drop next turn, I can play 2-drop, gain the energy, swing in for a bunch of damage, and go. That's not what happened here. I'll top that. It's not the creature that I want, but it is one of the better cards in the matchup, and I am not going to deny that. 12. Feel the trophy in my bones. Now we have 2 very, very good counterspells. Don't have the fastest clock in the world. That doesn't matter too much. Do I just keep that from producing mana? Is that an okay use of a Consigned to Memory in this spot? I think so. That seems fine. We'll take the marginal thinning here. My life total is very unlikely to be relevant. Nice. This is the sort of thing that I needed here. So we'll make our cat. We got 22 when it's all said and done. Send in. I have 5 energy. I can go ahead and grow one of these. And this is lethal next turn. Opponent's at 6. So it still is going to continue to tick up. It will gain the ability to make construct tokens this turn, but it still does not have the ability to produce mana. So Consign to Memory functioned as like a sinkhole. Dead. Okay, they get to cast a spell. We are going to counter that and replicate it, just in case. That's a trophy. That is undefeated with Mockingbird in Legacy. That feels good. All right. So, I think the general deck is good. However, I am not sold on some of the slots. Is playing Sand Scout worth it? I sideboarded this out in most of my rounds. We didn't really see it do its thing and pop off and make a bunch of tokens ever. I feel like playing 4 main deck copies of White Orchid Phantom is probably better than this stuff. Just more White Orchid Phantoms and Felias in these slots. I boarded those in a decent amount of the time, so why not start with them in 4 game 1 scenarios? And I think if you get rid of Blade of Souls, you need fewer lands to operate. That doesn't mean that I'm advocating for cutting lands. The amount of mana felt about appropriate, but you don't necessarily need 2 lands in your opener all the time, although you probably would like it. Generally speaking, I think the whole Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, Ajani shell is very strong. I don't think that's a hot take. Adding Mockingbird to it for consistency and redundancy seems good. There is probably something quite real here. The ultimate question is like, is doing something like this better than playing some existing tier 1 deck list? Not sure that it is, but scoreboard, it looked really darn good today. And folks, if you need your Mockingbirds, consider checking out toamagic.com, promo code ThrabenU to save you a little bit of money and let them know that I sent you. And this was a really good last league to record before going off to Vegas. So I'm going to get this uploaded, and then I'm going to finish packing my suitcase and get out of here, I think. All right. Have a great rest of the day. See ya.